Welcome to Voodu Warlock 2023, episode 15. I am level 15, and right before I started this, I just got a tell from a channel viewer thanking them for a tip. That was really cool. Love hearing from channel viewers that the content is helping them out, whether it's learning a crafting system or, how a quest works, or, learning how to do a raid. Totally awesome. So, let's see. Quests since the last episode. I've just done Archon's Trial Chain, just those 3. And I just figured that way I'll be flagged for when my guild runs that raid. I host that raid every Thursday night, so. And I needed a little XP. I already had Lord's March Chain 2 done like a couple levels ago. And that's all I did since the last video. Let's see. We're going to be doing Gianthold walkups this episode, so that's going to be starting the Argonescent favor. Lots of good stuff there. Including 10 hit points and some dragon shards and some other goodies, and then +2 to save versus dragons if you get it all the way up, which I intend to since it's final life. Take a look at the gear. Lots of gearing changes this level. I'm just going to go over it all. So the Summoner Spectacles haven't changed, and neither has the Coat of the Traveler medium armor. I do have some level 15 bracers, just higher stats. I think it's the same stats that just, crafted a level 15 version. But I think it's the same stats as the one I had at level 10. It's got Sheltering 19, so that's both PRR and MRR. Resistance 6, Dodge 8. Got it on a double slotted blank. Sapphire of Armored Agility +1. And Diamond of Perform 13. Perform helps my sonic damage from my pact. And the Sapphire of Armor Agility affects the max dex bonus of my armor that I'm wearing. The max dex bonus is also the max dodge bonus that you can get. Don't remember if I talked about this before in this series, but you do want to make it a goal to have your dodge chance or your dodge equal to your dodge chance max. You can hover over the armor class there. You can see it says my dodge chance max towards the bottom. It says 11%, and my dodge is 11%. Remember, you can help bridge that gap. If you play Reaper mode, you can help bridge that gap with your Reaper trees right here. And speaking of Reaper trees, forgot to pick up my cores at 15. So, hey, oops, I'm going to do Charisma and Constitution. So, Core 3s become available at level 15. And remember, cores 2 through 6 are always on, even outside of Reaper mode. Otherwise, if your dodge is not equal to your dodge chance max, you're just throwing missed chances away. You can it's easier than ever to get your dodge up because you can augment dodge now. And you can, like I said, you can bridge the gap with your Reaper trees right here. That's 3 dodge there, 3 more dodge, and so on. All right, let's see. Going over to the boots now. This is the same as before. Gloves. These would be the same as before. I put a Sapphire natural armor in there earlier today, forgetting that I had natural armor there already, so that's very redundant. The ring is new, just higher stats. Radiance 94, Radiance Lore 14, Insightful Physical Sheltering, green slot with death block. The same Mineral 2 green steel belt for big stacking hit points. Again, the green steel, not worth going out of your way for. Just find another belt that works for your gear set. Ghost Waking Cloak. This gives me Ghostly, so it's another mischance. The Charisma and Resistance I have higher elsewhere. I have it slotted up with Diamond Strength. This is a new trinket. It's got Spell Sight 16, Parrying 3, so that's 1 more parrying, 1 more to AC and saves over the Parrying 2 that's on the armor. Insightful Radiance 47, nothing in the slot. Gem of Many Facets is farmable out of the Chronoscope raid. Super easy to take your over-level tune into Chronoscope, which is just base level 6, and farm out any of that gear that you want. And the necklace is new. Got spell save 6 on there. Charisma 8, Insightful Charisma 3, Diamond of Intelligence 6, just because that helps out with the Spellcraft skill, and Topaz Proof against Poison, just because I don't have anything else to put in there. Might as well put something in there. What the hell? And then the headgear is the same. Intimidate 15, Spell Focus Mastery 3, Insightful Magical Sheltering 8, Sapphire Good Luck +1. Got my Fanion still, and still using the Bottle o' Rum from Isle of Dread. All right, I do have a new trinket that I like to have as a clicky. This comes from the end chest of Saint Asylum. It's the Shard of Zoriat. And what's nice about this is just a nice summons clicky. It has 3 charges per rest. You can summon a random Zoriat creature. This is where, if you've ever seen people have a Beholder summons out, this is where it comes from. So you can get a Chaos Beholder, an Evil Eye, a Thrak Hound, Mind Flare, a Taken, a Render. I think those are the options. Sometimes it's nice to have a summon out to grab aggro or something. And then I also wanted to show the Flame Cleansed Fury set. This is certainly a great set to have at level 15. Just what I'm doing here is just showing you an alternate set that you can have. This comes out of Sharn. And so this set's nice because the 3-piece set, which includes the armor, the bracers, and the cloak, give 25 artifact bonus to Fire Force, Light, and positive spell power. So we're interested in the light spell power, and then the force spell power would affect our average black tentacles, but not our base eldritch damage, because remember, we run with Utter Dark Blast on, which converts the base force eldritch damage over to evil, and evil is affected by radiant spell power. 5% artifact bonus to Fire, Force, Light, and positive spell crit chance, +2 artifact bonus to Wisdom and Charisma, and +1 artifact bonus to spell DCs. So really nice set. It's got some nice stats on them. Here are the bracers. The healing doesn't really do a whole lot for us in heroics. We're not throwing any positive energy spells, although I will be throwing some positive energy spells once we get into epics from Epic Destinies. And then the Hallowed Trail has big Radiance and Radiance Lore evocation focus, +3 quality spell penetration. Spell penetration would help Everett's Black Tentacles and any other offensive spells that you had that required a spell penetration check. I just wanted to highlight that set because that's a popular one for Enlightened Spirit Warlocks to use. I don't use it. I just keep using what I got because I pretty much got all that stuff covered, and I don't really feel like I need... I mean, the artifact bonus would be above what I got, but for blasting through R1 heroics, like I said before, I don't worry about being optimized at every level. What I got is plenty good enough. But it's a good example of an alternate set that you could use, so I wanted to show that. Let's see. No ability score at this level. Feats. I took Shield Mastery. And I haven't been showing the skills, but I still don't have them maxed out. Concentration. These could be maxed out at 18, so I stopped going up in Spellcraft for now, and I'm going to focus on maxing out Balance, Concentration, Intimidate. If I have any left over, I could put some in Spellcraft. You know, I'd love to put some in Heal too. I just don't know if I'm going to have the skill points. It's not a big deal if I don't. All right, let's go do some Gianthold walkups. So we're going to start with Feast or Famine. This is part of my normal leveling routine. These do have epic options. All the quests out here do have epic counterparts. Except for the raid Reaver's Fate. There is an epic Gianthold raid, but that's a separate sequel raid. Gianthold. Classic old school DDO goodness. A little too washed out with the magenta and purple in the Slayer zone and then the town, but solid pack, and Argo favors nice. Another one that has, you know, so many quests and a raid, and you know, if it came out today, this would be an expansion. Trap there. We don't have trapping skills, so we just have to power through it. Now there can be a trap right here. And if the trap is there, it'll always be right here. So if you don't have a trapper, go around to the left side of the stalagmite. Let's see, did I pick up any new spells? I got Tensor's Transformation now, which I don't really use that a lot during heroics and while leveling. Really just at endgame when I'm tanking higher skull reapers or if I'm raid tanking. Lots of traps in this one, and they're not static, you know, like there can be a trap here. And, you know, if you don't have a trapper and you're worried about it, then just hit your, you know, your Reaper save boost. That's +9 to saves right there. You just hit it and get the hell out of the way. No trap this time, though. Make sure you have your Shining Through up, and that's going to absorb the brunt of the damage. Remember what I said before. We don't worry about traps. We survive them. A lot of people ask me, what do you do about traps? Run through them. Avoid them. Traps don't bother me. There's the key we're looking for. If you're new to this one, there's that named guy there that drops the key, and he can appear randomly in any of the 4 rooms that are in this area. So there's another one of the rooms, and there's a room there and over there. But we already got the key first try. We got lucky, so I don't need to do those other rooms if I don't want to. That key opens this door here. But the tentacles keeps him nice and still. If you want to, you know, if maximizing and empowering your tentacles is a little bit too costly on your mana pool, then just turn off maximize and empower for it. Or maybe you just want to turn off one, just have maximize and then, you know, not empower maybe or something. And remember, you can just right click any spell and then you can manually toggle it off just for that spell right here with this menu that comes up when you right click it. Give me the old tentacles action again there. Keeping an eye on my Shining Through, making sure that I have plenty of temporary hit points to absorb any incoming damage. Oh. I didn't talk about enhancements, did I? So I did get another 1d4 damage to Pact here, and I do have Death Ward added to my spellbook there, which I forgot to bring down here and add to my buff bar. So running with Death Ward at all times now. Death Ward comes from Core 4 Tainted Scholar. So I'm going to hit my saves boost. There might be a big trap here. Nope. Roll around the backside. disease, so drink a disease pot. Oops, wrong potion. I have that hotkeyed and I wasn't looking and I just fat fingered it. He got frozen from the Ruby of Snow Peaks that I have in my bottle of rum. And that comes from the Snow Peaks Festival. It comes out in February. By the time this episode gets published, let's see, this is episode 15. We're probably looking... Dude, this might not get posted till October-ish, but, you know, Snow Peaks will be just a few months away at that point. I'm going to hit Reaper Luck, in case there's a big fat trap there. Sometimes there is. 3 champions in this room. That's nasty. All right, my temporary hit points from Shining Through are down to 200, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit my Shining Through, bring it back up to 459 temporary hit points. Big fat buffer of temporary hit points to absorb that incoming damage. That's how we mitigate so much of that damage, is Shining Through, the aura pumping out. Let's see, what's the aura doing now? So I've got my Constitution up to 51, and my aura is ticking every... Let's see... every 4 seconds. 3 seconds now here at Core 4. So every 3 seconds, I'm getting 51 temporary hit points from my aura. Lag there. Same thing here as the other set of 4 rooms. We're just looking for a named guy who has a key. And I haven't been paying attention. But I don't think we got him already, did we? No, here he is right here. What do traps look like on R1? Let's just stand in it. Let's see, they're just, each one of those is hitting me for, you know, 30, whatever. No big whoop. They look like some kind of guy who's worried about that. We did take some damage though, so we'll throw a healing scroll. That key that we got from that named opens this door right here. Wand and Scroll Mastery maxed out. Healing myself for 161 from a healing scroll. I'll throw that again so you can see it. Bam, 161, not bad. Great for the back for those casters. Take out casters first, generally speaking. Casters are a higher priority than most mobs. They cast nasty spells. How are we doing on Unbreakable's bonus? We got Ransack. Excellent. And hit my Shining Through. Bring my temp hit points back up. A chest. Get the hell out of dodge. We'll detour since these mobs can just keep attacking us. And we'll walk I just need to port back to Gianthold at this point, because it's going to be easier to run to the next one from Gianthold. And I've got both poison and disease, so I'm going to hit a heal scroll because that'll take care of both of them, as opposed to drinking a separate disease and poison potion. One-stop shopping with the heal scroll. So now we're going to do trial by fire. Explorer right there. I do have a video for this zone showing where all the explorers and rares are. YouTube channel. So you can check that out if you're new to Gianthold, help you learn your way around. The pickup spot for the teleporter for the Storm Heart is right here. You can see there's kind of a vague circle there. And it says Storm Heart. Far shift location discovered. There is an explorer right out here. Now we're going to trial by fire. Gianthold quests are pretty easy to step it up on. They're a little bit easier than other quests at their level range. Maybe even by a couple of skulls. But I'm just soloing, so I'm just going to keep it at R1. Keep it simple. Like I said, the amount of Reaper XP that you get for stepping it up in heroics doesn't really amount to a whole lot. You know, it will add up over the course of many lives, but it just pales in comparison to the Reaper XP that you get at endgame. Some breakables over here. We just got Eder caps introduced to the game with Isle of Dread, so I suspect that when we see groups of spiders in the future and new content, that we're probably going to often see Eder caps with them. If you don't, if you're not an old pen and paper player, if you don't know what an Eder cap is, it's like a spider humanoid, and they like to hang out with giant spiders. Classic old school Dungeons and Dragons monster. Going all the way back to first edition. I don't know if I've talked in the series about, my history with Dungeons and Dragons, but I started playing pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid. I was introduced to it when I was 7 years old, and absolutely just enamored by it right from the start. And played it for many years. Most of my experience is homebrew stuff. I haven't personally run through a lot of modules. Even though I owned a bunch of them, and I own a bunch of them now, and I've read through them, and I spent probably about the good 2/3 of my time playing as the dungeon master. So I would love to look through other modules and steal ideas out of them and stuff. But I haven't played pen and paper Dungeons and Dragons in about 10 years. Living in New York. And I was in a group there in upstate New York, and then when I moved back home to Michigan, I just haven't been in a group since. But I've been spending my time playing DDO. DDO is always here. When I was in pen and paper groups, I was always frustrated that we never played as much as I wanted to. And I'm such a big nerd that I would have played Dungeons and Dragons tabletop like every weekend, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. That's how much I wanted to play. But it's always like, you know, we were lucky to get like a Saturday in every other weekend, you know. And one of the things I loved about DDO, it's always here. I can play whenever I want to. I don't have to try to coordinate schedules with a bunch of other people. Lot of breakables right here. And once we do that part through that gate, there's going to be a bunch of archers spawning on these ledges. Okay, so we're going to get the breakables first, and then we're just going to run by the archers. This lever just opens that gate. The beginning is actually right there, so if you got latecomers, it's nice to pull that lever to let them in. Okay, but the breakables that we're going to get here, there's a whole level we didn't go to, and that's where those breakables are. See them down there? I'm throwing my little spectral throwing dagger at them. You're not gonna get ransack unless you get those breakables. Okay, and then we got another one down there. I don't know if I hit it. A couple here. Let's see, did I get that one down there? I did not. This one can be a little bit confusing when you're new to it, because the path is not quite linear. You know, you could go down there, for example, that would lead down to that level where I was hitting all those breakables. And people who are new to this will often get lost. It's not a very confusing map. It's just a little confusing when you're new to it. Plus, there's a place. I mean, there's, you know, that central shaft, people can fall and then struggle to find their way back up. And there's a place that you can fall as you're going to the end fight. All right, see, now there's a bunch of archers out there. I'm not even going to mess with them. I'm just going to pull this named mob down the hall so I can fight him isolated from the archers. When he dies, that gate will open. This is, you know, see the objective, slay the Blackheart generals. That's what he is. Okay, and there's a shrine over there. This is where people fall. This is way back in the quest. We fought some spiders. So you have to run back through if you fall down. We're going to go to the end, which is over this way. And you can just run past all this stuff if you want to. I just want to get the breakables. Let's see where we're at. We got Vandal, another breakable. A lot of people will just run by all this stuff and just down the hole over here. But then when people are new to it, they don't see the hole, and then they get caught up by all this stuff here. But there's a hole right here you need to drop down into to go to the end fight. Okay, we still don't have ransack, but there are 2 more breakables in the end fight. So let's make sure that we get those breakables before we kill the boss, so we can get that extra 5% XP. Bam! And there's the other breakable. We got ransack now. Hell yeah, baby. This is one of the quests that you can get a jeweled cloak out of. I talked about that being part of your spell absorption repertoire. And then you can get the epic version from the epic version of the quest. The epic version of the jeweled cloak. Now we're going to go over to Maze of Madness, which is right next door. Make a left out of here. And fall down. There can be a rare up over there. It's not up. Tammer Stonehoof. Video doesn't want me to enter. There we go. You are going to need a couple bodies in this one, or, you know, a couple bodies that can pull levers. So if you're soloing it, make sure that you have, you know, a wolf or an iron defender or a skeleton or a hireling or something that can pull levers. Forget the buff. We'll get Froggo out. Park him there, put him on passive. And tell him to pull the lever. Bam. Froggo can live there for now. There's a place that you can climb over the walls. Probably not really working as intended, but you will commonly see people do that method. I personally don't like to do it just because, you know, people fall and then they can't get back to the rest of the group. You know, this quest can be really confusing to people who are new to it too. It's a very small quest, actually. It's just a maze, so, you know, they pack quite a bit of maziness into a small area. Now, I'm not sure if I talked about issues with bursting. I know I talked about issues with targeting your blasts. So here there can be traps, so if you just pull the lever and then step aside, you won't get hit by it. One of them is going to be the one that opens the gate, and the others are going to trigger traps, and the number of levers is random. That guy, you know, you can pull him out. If you go into that room, then you're going to spawn extra mobs inside the room and back here and stuff. So if you want to avoid those spawns, then just don't go into that room. There is sometimes a collectible in there. There won't be a trap here because that's the only lever. There's no false lever. Here, one of these is going to be trapped. I pull it, quickly step aside. I don't get hit by the traps. This one must be the correct lever. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. It can be up to 3 levers here. It's the center one that's the correct one. So I'm going to call Froggo here, park him. And when I get over here, I'm going to tell him to pull that lever, closes his gate, opens this one. And now I'm going to call Froggo to me again, park him here at that lever, tell him to pull it. When I get over here, boom. No big whoop. All right. And that will open up the way. I do want to get these breakables. And so we're trying to open up. We were opening up the gate down here for everyone. And we don't need Froggo anymore. Unfortunately, his trapping skills are likely not going to be good enough, although maybe I should have tested it. But we tried it earlier. We saw him blowing boxes in lower level content, so not gonna bother. Yeah, I don't know which lever is the real one, so I'm just gonna pull one and step aside. And that must have been the correct one. If you listen closely to the sound effects, you'll hear a gate opening in the distance. That was the right one. I could see the gate opening through the gap in the wall. That triggered the trap. Oh, he's reason to pull this one in here. That's just going to spawn more mobs. Lots of false levers spawning traps here. We'll deal with those in a minute. So you're going to want to probably have true seeing to do this one. Without it, you won't be able to, you might not be able to spot those doors. I did scroll true seeing on myself earlier. I should have mentioned when I was doing that. Definitely want to carry scrolls of true seeing with you if you don't have it on gear. If you are at all concerned about your survivability when pulling all these levers, then you can always just have a hireling do it. But I'm just going to pull it and step aside. I'm looking for that gate over there on the left to open up. There we go. That's all I was looking for from those levers, so I don't need to mess with anything else. Ooh, I will need frog. I can't summon him again, but I will just bring out a different hireling. I can bring out teal. Alright, so we're going to park teal in front of this lever. It's the right lever we discovered. And just tell them to pull it once we get here. That opens this next gate and closes the one behind. Boom. And if you need to let other people in, it's one of these two levers here. Some of these will trigger traps. That's why I'm way over here on the side. Got lucky. It was the first one, but I just want to show you that, you know, if you're over here way off to the side and you pull one of the wrong levers, then you won't get hit by those. Single target blast, and we're going to go ahead and kill the optional caster down there. And we're going to use a throwing weapon to get all these breakables because we want to get ransack, get all that extra yummy extra XP. And that's ransack. Excellent. We'll come back and get that chest at the end. This is the other quest that can drop the jeweled cloak. The heroic one from this one, and then the epic jeweled cloak from the epic version of Maze of Madness. Done. Remember, your relics that you get from these chests out here can be used to purchase augments out in the public zone. Lots of great augments that you can get for relics here in Gianthold. This one can also drop named items. No luck. All right, so now we're going to go and we're going to go back to Gianthold. I don't have the far shifter location open, so I can't use the far shifter guy there to go over to the Storm Eye, which would take us close to Foundation of Discord and Cry for Help, as we're doing next. But these are the that's the level 24 augment, 20, 16, 12. The 12, 16 guys, they take the regular relics, and then the level 20 and 24, they take the restored relics. Those are basically the epic relics that you get from the epic traders. Or you get from the epic quests and rare slayer chests. Lots and lots of augments that you can get from all these guys. If you didn't know that, take a look next time you're out here. And now we're going to go over to Foundation of Discord. Got 2 more quests to do. Foundation and Cry for Help. Gianthold is a Slayer zone that when people are new to it, they tend to get very confused by it. Especially over by, you know, the first one we did, Feast or Famine, and the Cabal for 1 and Crucibles over there. Those are base level 14 quests. Why we're not doing them as part of this episode, because they're 1 level higher. So I'll do those when I'm level 16. But this whole zone tends to be confusing to folks who are new to it. It's not too bad at all, though. Doesn't take too long to learn it. In here you can jump across the crystallized dragon wings, a little shortcut, but invariably somebody always falls and they're like, I don't know where to go. You just come up here and circle around. No big whoop. See? There's the giant wing that we would have come off of. And the far shifter location is Raishan. You can see Storm Eye far shift location discovered. See, there's a vague circle right there. So now I can talk to that ogre mage in the public zone of Gianthold and teleport directly to that spot if I want to. And once you pick that up, I can't remember if that works for the epic. If you pick it up in heroic, will that work for epic? I'm not sure. I don't do epic Gianthold anymore. Or since the balance pass, I hear that some people like to do it. It's a lot faster than it used to be. I actually don't do much epic questing. I really just typically do heroics and then blast through epics using mostly slayers. And then start questing again once I get to legendary, because as I've mentioned, and I can't mention enough, that's where you get your big Reaper XP from, is legendary Reaper questing. We typically will only spend about 7 hours in epics to go from 20 to 30. Just by doing the big Slayer zones like Epic Orchard, Epic Barovia. I like to do King's Forest, Infinite Slayer, Spawn, Grim Disturbance. The name of the rare out in King's Forest that has infinite Slayer spawns. Let's go for the fastest XP I can, epic XP I can get, and get right onto those legendary Reapers. And I typically will spend about a week doing legendary Reapers. Possible very, very big trap here. Triple hits. Boom. That one can be devastating if you're squishy. That thing has killed me so many times. I'm traumatized by it. But it's not doing nearly as much damage. It seems like. Or maybe it's just because I have higher saves and defenses than I did back in the day. Alright, here we need to get through that door there, but we gotta do side halls burst. That is an optional down there. So we're not going to go that way. Those casters can follow me if they want to. Otherwise, they can live there. I don't care. Alright, so I was talking about problems with targeting. So, targeting the burst.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
That's funny. So randomly, somebody just followed my Twitch channel. And since I use OBS to record my videos, as well as live stream. I'm not live streaming right now, but somebody happened to randomly follow my Twitch channel while I was recording this video, and that's the sound alert that comes up when somebody follows the channel. That's pretty damn funny. All right, so let's see. I'm going, oh, that guy. Okay, there he is. I'm going to target him and just show you, like, let's see. See, I can't burst right now. This is something that's really frustrating, okay? And you can even have like a freaking breakable targeted, you know, on the other side of the planet or something. And you see it says the Silver Concord Ranger is blocked, and it's not letting me burst. And sometimes you're like, what the hell? Why can't I burst? And you're jamming the button like, what am I, stunned? What the hell's going on here? This is something that really needs to change, but, you know, will it ever change? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, Warlock's been out for 7 years. It shouldn't matter what I have targeted, because bursting is always centered on me. Targeting a mob has no effect, you know, on how the burst goes off. So, you know, it should never fail if I have something targeted, but it does. So it's just a nuance to be aware of. You don't run into that issue being problematic that often, but it's still, you know, when it happens, you're like, what the hell is going on? Oh, I have some mob targeted down the hall, and it's blocked. It's always silly to have, you know, basing mechanics tied to an ability that is a burst and is always centered on you. This doesn't make any sense. Got a secret passage here. I'll do a true seeing scroll so I can see it. True seeing is, I think, just about good enough to find most secret passages in heroics, but after heroics, true seeing isn't going to find most of them. True seeing is going to be, of course, good for melees and range that want to see through mobs that have like blur and displacement on them. See through their defenses so they don't get the mischance. But we don't worry about that. We don't worry about true seeing for that. Because even though, you know, we are swinging our weapon at mobs, like I said, it's, you know, it's more for funsies than anything else. Certainly not doing a formidable amount of really any kind of DPS, but, you know, especially melee DPS. Swinging the weapon is just sort of something to do between bursts. Plenty of other options. People, that's another common question I've gotten. In fact, I've gotten it so much that I put a list of things. People ask, what do you do between bursts? You know, because bursts are on, what, a 5-second cooldown, you get 2 of them. Some people don't know what to do with their lives for those 3 seconds between bursts. Me, I never run out of things to do. You know, I can refresh my Shining Through. I can, you know, use Everett's Black Tentacles later on when I get all, you know, the rest of my spells. I can do, like, Odo's Irresistible Dance. I can heal myself and others with you know, Sun, or a Healing Pillar, or my Mass Cure Moderate's SLA that I'll get from the Exalted Angel Destiny. You know, I can refresh my rage. You know, I'm going to be raging in epics. Kinds of stuff to do. You can cast Oops. That's the optional. That's funny. Oh, I misspoke earlier. I said this was the optional, but it's not. It was that other way. Shame on me. There is a secret passage here, or yeah, a secret door there that's very easy to spot, but that's just a little trick. That's why it's so easy to spot. It's just a bunch of spikes that are going to come out of the wall. So it's basically a trap disguised as a secret passage. It's a neat trick. Gets newbies all the time. Because they're like, oh, I've spotted this secret passage, but it's made for everybody to be able to spot it. It's a secret passage that's not very secret. So that you'll think you found something, but really you just found a bunch of spikes in your face. Okay, so now that we've done the side rooms that we need to do, and if you want to do that optional room, you will need to be able to unlock that door. Lockpicking skills, knock, melt lock. Levs. Famine Reaper means put on spell absorption. Famine Reaper's dead, so I put on my regular trinket. All right, how we doing on breakables? Got ransack. Excellent. Okay, this end fight can be kind of overwhelming if you try to step it up. I remember in the early days of Reaper mode, stepping this one up and getting clobbered in here. Do need to ring these 4 gongs. There's going to be respawns in this room, so it's tough to stay on top of this stuff. But in any event, I don't need this stuff shooting me while I'm trying to ring the gongs. Be careful when you ring the gongs. It does trigger like a sonic effect, and you will take damage from that. A disease. So we'll do a disease pot. Ring this gong. Hide behind it because something's hitting us. I had a dot. I really wish they'd make it so that we could do a concentration check when we're trying to, you know, toggle something, opening a chest, toggle a lever or something like that. See how this can get pretty gnarly in here. I just can't stand it. We got some little dot doing 2 damage to us and it interrupts us pulling a lever. It's just silly. You know, it'd be nice if we could do a concentration check to continue opening, you know, to continue toggling the lever or opening the chest or ringing the gong or whatever. Alright, no sweat, Ace. It's a restoration potion that got rid of the exhaustion that was on me. That's why I was moving slowly per sec. A couple collectibles and a chest. Sometimes fire elementals will sneak over here while you're trying to recall out. So I'm just going to toss a D-door and take that. It's Foundation of Discord. Now we're going to do the final quest of this episode, which is a cry for help. Most famously known for please and help. Lothar the Insidious. And while we're here, we've got the Aurum Supply Depot here, which in both Heroic and Epic will always have a chest. But you got to break stuff. You got to break this stuff out here, and then the guys will come out of that tent. They're like, hey, you kids, get off my lawn. And then you kill them and take their stuff. Because that's what you do when you're a murder hobo. You kill them and take their stuff. See? They came out and screamed at me. You get off their lawn, I killed them, and I take their stuff. And you can get relics from here. Great place to farm relics on hardcore. Today is July 24th, and hardcore is starting in 3 days. Hardcore Season 6. Still don't really know anything about it. They're being tight-lipped. And since, well, yeah, let's just go down to the quest. So this is Cry for Help right here. Coming through here because we need a key that comes from this chest. And that key opens this door. There's a line of tile, or a line between the tiles here, so I'll know exactly where to go. This line right there, and then I don't fall down. But if you fall down, you just climb out, no big whoop. Just did these quests yesterday on my alt Voodoo Spice. That's my new project tune because Voodoo and Ginger are both, you know, almost done with all the lives I want to do, so I started a new project tune. Once I get this tune to cap, though, I'm going to be working on Ginger's 3 Tabaxi lives. And we're here to get this chest. Key from there. Breakables here in this corner and the other corner. This floor will drop out. There is a collectible right here. There's going to be lots of nasty traps. If you're a trapper, you just want to be right in the center down here. There's a little safe spot right here where I'm standing, and then the box is right there. Or damage, no sweat. See, we survived traps. Since hardcore is happening, and I don't know if I'm gonna compete in it, it might be neat to try to include some hardcore action interspersed, which now makes me wish I hadn't, when I introduced each episode, that I hadn't said the episode number, because now what if I want to intersperse some hardcore action in between these episodes, and that's going to throw the episode numbers off. But like I said, I don't know whether or not I'm going to play on hardcore. It always depends for me. This is trapped. They're going to blow you up. There's going to be nasty traps up there. You can go around to the left, but sometimes you still get blown up. And then if you're a trapper, the trap boxes are right there to the right of the door. But whether or not I will play on any hardcore season just depends on the rewards. If there's something I like, I'll go for it. If there's not, I won't. We need to bring down the drawbridges there. There are levers on each side. So we're going to go take care of those. You just pull, there could be a trap here, just pull the lever and step back immediately. You don't get hit by it. I will be using this build for hardcore though. With only the slightest of modifications. Same thing here, there can be a trap, pull it and step away immediately, you won't get hit. I'm going to use chain shape here. We got archers on ledges, so chain shape is great to bounce around between them. Bada bing, bada boom. Same thing here. Chain shape bounces around between all those mobs. Hell yeah. There is an optional underwater if you like. Just a junk chest. We'll be able to need you to, there's a secret passage under the water, so you'll need to have a true seeing or spot or search skill or something. That lever. And then go around to the other side. Gonna chain shape it. Well, actually we'll go back to Aura and kill this guy separately. Sure. Came down. It's funny. Careful while you're jumping, you can bounce off that chandelier. Where are we at on ransack? Excellent. And end fight. Junk chest over here. There's also a key we need in it. Open up this gate. And here's the please and help guy. Got an aggression bonus, and we killed almost everything. There was a room of, oh no, we got onslaught. There was a room filled with Geralists that we didn't go into. And that is a cry for help. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Any questions, you can always make a comment on the video. You can post a comment to my build post in the Warlock forum, or you can stop by the Twitch live stream. See you soon.